that I love dearly. They wanna take it away from me. Cause as soon as November done, and they start to drink up the rum, they want to kill me. I and this ain't no fun. They want to kill me. I just have to hold my piggy and run. They want to kill me. And because I know what they want to do. They want to kill me. And they want to put my piggy in stew. Piggy ball it, oink, oink, oink. Piggy ball it, oink, oink, oink. Piggy ball it, oink, oink, oink. Piggy ball it, oink, oink. Piggy, piggy, oink, piggy, piggy. Oink, oink, oink. Piggy, piggy, oink, piggy, piggy. Why you balling, piggy?
And what you've just seen there is a music video coming down there from Mr. Joseph Adams. He's a trustee at Tuco, and he's also an artist. That's My Poor Piggy. Make what you want of it. But the pigs in the video are so cute though. Oh my God.
It's a cute little piggy. That's the kind of piggy I always like. I had a cute little piggy when I was a young fella now. You know, so that represented the piggy that I had.
So good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I am mighty fine, you know. God is good, you know.
Yes,
I'm good.
yes. And this video was done, you were telling me, about 6 years ago?
Yeah, it was 6-7 years ago we did that video. What happened, that song, I composed that song even before that, and then we decided to do the video, you know, so as we know, Christmas, Soca Parang don't die, you know, because right now that song is quite popular, you know, and it keeps going on and on, so.
I mean, when you hear Christmas, you think about ham, you think about, you know.
Yeah. And that's the point, is about pork, Christmas, and as one of my new song, 2019, Soca Parang, say, Christmas is about pork and alcohol, you know. We can't get away from that, regardless of what you think, you know.
And I always tell people, you have to experience a Trinidad Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, that is one of the greatest experiences ever.
Of course, it is.
So just in keeping with Tuco History Month, just tell us a bit about, you know, your stint here at Tuco.
Well, my stint at Tuco has been very lengthy. You know, I was once, well, I served on the South Zones executive for many years. As a matter of fact, I can't even recall the amount of years that I served on the South executive, and then from there I moved on to the national executive, where I am now. As a matter of fact, let me just step back. I was the vice chairman of the South Central Zone first.
So you're a long-standing member
and then
of
I moved up to the national executive, where I'm now a trustee in the national executive of Tuco. The stint has been. It has been long, it has been fulfilling, it has sometimes been frustrating. Because I'll tell you something, on PSC, you people will know that every union, I was also a shop steward in a union that when I was involved in the steel industry, I was a shop steward in the steel workers union.
Wow.
So I know how it works with, you know, organizations such as ours.
And you would have heard even before the two members from PTSD.
Right? So membership organization is always challenging. People need to know that when you go to serve in a membership organization, do not think it's a bed of roses. It ain't.
I mean, I'm not even part of membership or executive or anything, but I mean, just looking on, you see so much is happening.
Yes,
and it gets worse every day.
And you will gain so much experience dealing with people, because I am in the Calypso fraternity. Our organization is like a union. That's the act under which we work as a trade union. And therefore we have to also represent our membership.
What are some of the challenges you all face though?
So much. It's from financial challenges, membership challenges, and you know, in an organization such as ours, as many others, you always have to deal with those that believe that, you know, the present executive is not doing what
you always get that, you know. You'll always get that, I think.
And that's the thing.
As long as you're not in that position,
you have to expect that. It should not deter you from doing the right things. You know, because sometimes I just tell people I am a leader. I am a leader. So one of my mantra in leadership is do what is right. It's difficult to always go back to the membership to ask, should I do this or should I do that? You have to do what is right at the end of the day. They might say and do it without the consent, but at the end of the day, it's all good. You know?
And what are some other challenges you all face?
Well, of course, you know, our situation in the scheme of things, the political side of the thing, we are still under the auspices of you know, the NCC, and we still have to, you know, account for every cent that we get, which is sometimes very little.
Well, to put it one way,
But people expect so much from you for whatever little you get. It's not that we could just move out and say, we are going to be independent and we are going to do this and we are going to do that. We still have, you know, parameters in which we have to function. You know, and so that could also be challenging in many ways. There are many things that I am not only the trustee, I'm the operations manager of the organization, and there are many things that I would have, you know, I put on the table and try to implement. But how do we implement it? You still have to, you know, go through certain guidelines, and sometimes that way you get a stick, and that's where the challenge, you know.
Would you say that Calypso is a dying art?
Oh no. I would never endorse such a statement. I always tell people, when you look at who won the Calypso Monarch this year, it's a young fella. The first time he's singing in a tent, he sang at Kaiso Showcase, which is our tent, my tent, of course. And this is about his second year in the tent, and he won the Calypso Monarch. He's very young. He's probably 20. Probably under 20, somewhere around there. Young, very young. He, as a matter of fact, he just came from juniors.
All right. So yeah, that would be.
And then when you look at the junior Monarch, the junior Monarch for seniors and old men like me, you know, for young people. So how could you say Calypso is dying? One of the myths, however, that I would like to, you know, to highlight, all the young people who sing in soca, I think there's a little misconception or lack of guidance in their thoughts. Calypso, and one of my songs last year, Calypso is the mother of all music in our country. And if you say you're singing soca, soca is just another brand of Calypso. And as I was hearing, Impulse was making a statement on our media yesterday, and I agree with him totally. One of the reasons why Calypso is not getting the same accolade that it has been getting over the years is because we try to divide it and believe Kaiso is for old people and soca is for young people.
True.
But that ain't so. If you need the culture to reach where it's supposed to reach, we have to go with the name that is recognized in the world. Calypso. What type of Calypso are you singing? I sing in soca.
True.
What type of Calypso are you singing? I sing in humor. Or, you know, that kind of thing. But if you stigmatize it or you start to separate it and say, I sing in soca and Kaiso, it's the same Kaiso you're singing.
But I feel like that separation was something that has been done a long time.
I mean,
like...
And when you say long, you're looking at like
some years ago.
Years ago, yeah. Well, they started it years ago. But check it out. The Marshall came from Calypso.
Yes.
He still sings Calypso. You see in most of the so-called soca bads now, going right back to these Calypso, the same Calypso that, you know, we were sung some years ago. They're going back to it now. Some of them remixing it. They're putting it in part. It's the same thing. Okay, so the beat might be
I think it's the beat, I think it's the beat that just kind of gives it its individuality, I guess. Lyrically, I would say it's almost the same, if not the same.
I'm proud to see that the soca Calypso lyrics has been changing gradually now, and they're coming back to the real core of the thing. Because by Calypso's, all stories are told, and it's a story. It's always a storyline. So you have to, once you remember that and you're composing, you will have to end up in that same. So, it's not, calypso not dying, and soca and calypso.
There's so many myths out here. I know that for a long time people have this misconception that, it's a dying art. And what we've seen recently is a preservation of the art, if nothing else. Like you've seen the introduction of younger people. In schools, for instance, you have all these competitions. So thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, schools, for Calypso History Month, we have been doing, we did quite a lot of school presentations. I was part of one in Couva, because that was the South Central Zones project. We have been going to, the schools and doing workshops with the schools. And it is amazing to see the response that Tuco has received in these events, the schools event, both primary and secondary schools. They come out and support. And our launch of the Calypso History Month at the Queen's Park Savannah, upstairs in the VIP lounge, is mainly school children come out and enjoy
to be fair, from the time you hear Tuco, you think something related to Calypso, Carnival, soca. So it just comes with it. So automatically, it will draw a crowd. You write as well?
Yes, I'm a writer.
So you write, sing, any musical instruments?
No, I don't play. The instrument is my voice. It's an instrument also,
That is very true. What would have led you to get involved in music?
Well, first of all...
We're taking you on a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, that's cool. That's quite all right. First of all, well, we used to sing and thing at home. We always sing, play the pan and that kind of thing as young folks coming up. But what struck me the most is, and I want a lot of young people to be listening, because when I call myself a Trini, I'm a Trinidadian, or Trinbagonian. And at one time, I remember a song, a man went out of the country, and they asked him where he from and his identity, and he had a pan, and the pan was what identified him with Trinidad and Tobago. And if I did not get involved in this art form or any other local or cultural, art form from my country, I would have failed. And I didn't want to fail, but I like to sing, so I end up in Calypso. That answered the question.
Sure does. And what would you describe as one of your most memorable experiences? I'm sure you've had many.
Yeah, well, I had some nice experiences, and one of the things that touched me is when I started to sing Calypso. I had a song early in the days in 1989, around there. I had a song called Man Overboard. And this song was not typically a local, song. It's not like London, but it's an international song to say the least. And when they had the coup in 1990, that song came like the road march in Trinidad and Tobago, because every moment, that time we had TTT. Well, then TTT. And that was the road march, and every time I look at the TV and I could see Man Overboard play, because I had a video with it. And that was the song that identified with the coup. That's everybody probably in this country know Man Overboard by now. And if I go to do an event and I don't sing, they say, you had to sing Man Overboard, boy. That some people call it Throw the Rope I Rescue Down. But the song, the name of the song, and that was a memorable time for me, not just an event. It's a memorable time for me. Well, yes, I did sing in a couple of nice events, like I've been to the semi-finals a couple of occasions, and it was nice, but for the moment. But that Man Overboard era, that was important for me.
All right. What can we expect from you coming up next year?
Next year, I am Music-wise.
Yeah.
So next year, right now I'm already in the process of recording my new Calypso for 2020. What I try to do now for the last couple of years, I've been staying away from the normal, excuse me guys, the pa-pa-pa-da-ba-da-ba-da-pa-pa-da-bap kind of Calypso. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing more soca-ish,
Okay.
groovy kind of thing. Because a couple of years I did one start the carnival. Then I did Carnival and last year I did this year I did Kai So Lavwe. All those are songs you could pull up on your YouTube and you could go see those songs. And this year, or 2020, I am in the middle of one called Exhale. Now, what I want people to understand and realize,
that's very interesting.
Every song that I compose has a meaning in it. It has some substance in it. Exhale is telling you about the situation in our country today. It's not putting it in a bad light, but I'm also talking, for example, I'm saying so much corruption and so much hate, To ease the tension is the carnival. They say we have a fet mentality, but it's fet that does make a truly easy frustration, cool down the tension. So let we jam, jam. Exhale. You need to exhale and breathe. Breathe. That's the kind of music I'm doing now.
Yeah, we really need to do that sometimes,
Yeah, we gotta exhale, we gotta breathe. Yeah.
All right, so
you can look out for that.
We are slowly running out of time, so I'm going to ask you to your closing comments.
Well, my closing comments, as I said, probably off air, I told you, it's a wonderful thing that, PSA is doing to have an internet TV. It is a wonderful thing also to have Tuku represented here. Yes. It's my pleasure to be here as well, representing Tuku. And I'm saying that, keep on doing what you're doing. I ask people to continue to support the Calypso, continue to support Tuko. This Calypso, remember, is the voice of the people.
Of course it is.
All right? It's the poor man's voice. Who can't talk, we go talk for them. Just give me the information, I go put it in song here. Nobody else looking you up for that. Calypso, all stories are told. Long live Calypso.
Yes. All right, Mr. Adams, thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Appreciate your conversation and your knowledge as it relates to even setting limits. Claire. So, thank you so much. All right, we're going to head to a really short break and come back with more. This is KSA TV. Stay with us.
We parangin whole night. Just give me this thing. We parangin whole night. Bring out something so we parangin whole night. Just put till we mouth. We parangin whole